friends, and welcome to Coffee with My Sunshine. So today I thought it would be fun to put together a compilation video for you guys. You have seemed to really like those in the past, so I thought it would be cool to put one together of my favorite spring and summer DIYs that we've done. So if this is something you're interested in, stay tuned. This one's an older one, but it's one of my favorites. I still have it hanging in my laundry room. Some of these you may have never seen before because I am using some old videos along with some new ones, so I hope you enjoy. We picked up these wood pallets from a local company that had put them out at the curb for anyone to take, and the sunflowers were from the dollar store. I tried tracing the mason jar onto the pallet, but that was a fail, so I went onto Pinterest and found a free mason jar template. My printer wasn't cooperating, so I cheated and traced it right from the computer screen. I'll link the one I used in the description box below. Next, you'll want to decide where you want your mason jar or vase to be on the pallet and start hammering in the nails. Remove the template and tie the string to the first nail and start wrapping the string around the nails. You can do this however you'd like. I wrapped the string around the nail once and then back to the previous nail and then back so that it was like 2 layers of string. That way it just looked a little bit thicker. I'm doing 2 pillow covers and we're going to go back to tie-dyeing days. First, you're going to need to cut out 2 cardboard triangles. You're going to need the fabric for your pillowcase and your pillow insert. Take your fabric, fold it in half, then fold it in half again so that you get a rectangle shape, and then fold it in thirds. I'm sorry if you can hear the lawnmower in the background. Then you're going to fold down the top corner and then fold that triangle under, and then repeat the process until you get all the way to the bottom of the fabric. Then you're going to take both pieces of the cardboard and sandwich the fabric in between the two. And I'm wearing gloves because I am highly allergic to latex, so I can't touch the rubber bands. Then after you have a bunch of rubber bands around it tightly, you're going to take your dye. In my case, I didn't have any fabric dye, so I'm using acrylic paint with a little bit of water. And I ended up adding a little bit more water. You want to do 1 part acrylic paint, 3 parts water. Then shake it until it's all mixed up. And I also didn't have a squirt bottle or one of those little squeegee bottle things that come with fabric dye. So I am just taking an old soap bottle. I figured that would work just as well. And you also, before you get started, you'll want to wet the edges of your fabric just to make it so it absorbs the color a little bit easier. You don't want it dripping though. And then just apply the color where you want it. The more color you put on the outside, like the more solid colors, the more definite the lines are going to be when you unwrap it. And then just wrap it in cellophane for a few hours. And I think this one's my favorite. I think it just has really cool patterns going on. And I just heat set mine with a blow dryer. It said that you could throw them in the dryer, but I really didn't want that in the dryer. I didn't know if it would leave marks on the inside of my dryer, so I just used a blow dryer. But I think it looked really cool when it was done. For this next one, you can see that I had attempted to do flowers on the back of these books, but it didn't work out, so I'm going to rip those off, paint the books white, and then all you need to do is just print out some sort of clip art, whatever you want the picture to be. I'm just using these basic bunnies. Then you're just going to take some tea, and this is going to be to stain the paper, and I put mine in a water bottle. I guess you could kind of like paint it on, but I wanted to just spray it on, and then use as much as you would like and let it sit there for just a short time, and then dab it off. See if it's the color you want. If not, add another layer and just keep doing that until you're happy with kind of like the vintage look that you get. And then just take some Mod Podge. Make sure your books are standing on end exactly how you want them when you set them up, like say on a shelf. Then you take the paper and it's still wet. You don't have to let it dry or anything, and then just push in really tight, like in the creases where the books come together, because that is where you're going to cut it. So like I said, you have Mod Podge already down, and then you're just going to take an X-Acto and cut in between each book. Just be careful not to cut the actual book. And you kind of have to have a delicate hand with this. See, and now they're all separated, and then the edges that are on the outside of the books and where you cut them, you just take a little bit of Mod Podge and seal them and push them down and seal them. And if you wanted, you could take a Mod Podge and go over the top of the picture. I didn't, because all I have right now is this glossy Mod Podge, and I wanted more of a matte look. So when I get matte, I'm going to go over the picture. I'm also going to hot glue the books together so that they hold together in the right place. And because I kind of screwed up and did the last book a little bit higher than the others, so if I didn't glue them together, it would just fall down and make the picture look kind of off. And as you can see, that right book is separating because it didn't have a cover on it, like a hard cover. So I recommend having a hard cover, because it's not going to glue together very good if it's just the paper. And then for mine, I'm just wrapping some twine around it and knotting it in the back, and I did that on the top and bottom. And I am super happy with how this turned out. I thought it was really cute and just Eastery and super like basic and simple. It can be set on a shelf with any of your decor, and I think it would look fantastic. And any products that I used in these videos will be linked in my description box of the original videos that I did, so if you're interested, you can go check those out. For this, you're going to need a little plate. This one is from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need a hot glue gun, a mug, this is also from the Dollar Tree, a fork. You'll probably want a cheaper fork, something it's easier for you to bend, or you could use some sort of cable, something that's stiff but something that you can bend by hand. Also, Gorilla Glue, this is necessary because I tried it with just the hot glue and it does not hold. And you're going to need some flowers. Originally I thought I wanted to use coffee beans. I thought that would look cute pouring out of the coffee mug, but I didn't have any, so we're just going to go with flowers right now. You're going to bend the fork, and I tried to make the prongs flat so that they would be flat against the plate, but this fork is a little bit hard to bend. And you're going to want to, when you glue it, you're going to want to place the fork a little bit to the front of the plate, because I did it in the center at first, and after I put the coffee mug on it, it kind of made the plate tip. So then you're going to want to see where you're going to bend the top by placing the coffee mug on there. You're going to bend it as well as you can. Be very careful. You're going to want to make it look like this so that it's flat on the plate and also kind of flat in the coffee mug. You want the coffee mug tilted just a little bit to look like it's pouring out. Here you're just going to take the glue, and this is where I suggest you use either E6000, which I haven't tried yet on this project, but or the Gorilla Glue, and follow the instructions so that it holds really, really well. But here I just used the hot glue gun, and I did use a ton of the glue and it held for a while, but the hot glue does not hold it permanently, so I definitely recommend, if you want this to be a permanent decor piece, to use the more heavy duty glue. And you're going to want to glue it on like this. Make sure the handle is at the top, or I guess the side if you want it to look like that. And then this is what it looks like, just kind of hovering all on its own. And I added more hot glue just to make sure it was secure, but like I said, it didn't hold with just hot glue. Unless you had a plastic mug or something more lightweight, it may have held. But here, you don't have to use the heavy duty glue to glue the floral pieces on. You can go ahead and use the hot glue. So you're just going to want to add your flowers or greenery, whatever you're using. Like I said, I wanted to use coffee beans, but I didn't have them, but that would be cute as well. And you just want to work your way down the fork and make sure you're covering, you know, all of the fork, because you don't want it to be seen. Like I said, you could also use a heavy duty wire or cable in place of the fork, but this seemed to work really well. And I will link I think it was on Pinterest that I saw it, I can't remember, but I will link it below where I got the inspiration for this. And you're just going to start putting your flowers, like I said, all the way down the fork, and then you're going to want to cover the plate kind of like it's spilling out. And this is what it looks like all finished. I think it's super cute. It looks like the mug is just pouring out the flowers. And I think this will be a perfect addition to our new coffee bar. I hope you guys are enjoying these, and let me know in the comments below what kind of videos you would like to see next on my channel. And also, if you're new here, I would love for you to join my YouTube family, subscribe, and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any videos or anything that I put out there. And any products that I used in these videos will be linked in my description box of the original videos that I did. So if you're interested, you can go check those out. First, we're going to be starting with these two placemats from the Dollar Tree. and I just had to pick them up because they really caught my eye because of how bright and cheery they were. And I also picked up this liquid stitch, and I learned about this from an awesome subscriber friend, and she was not kidding. This stuff is awesome. We're also going to need some sort of stuffing. And with this stuff, I read the directions, and it is super easy and lays a lot flatter than using hot glue. All you have to do is just, you know, squirt it basically where you want it to seal. It's like a, it's kind of like that adhesive tape for fabric, but it's just a glue. So I am just going to go all the way around the placemat and set the other placemat on top. You want to leave a small hole a little bit bigger than your hand. That way you can add the stuffing after it dries. And this stuff, it says it only takes a half hour to dry. I let it dry a little bit longer, only because I wasn't home. But when you get your placemats, make sure they are the same size. Mine was a little bit bigger. So now that this has dried, I am going to add the stuffing. And then I'm just going to go ahead and seal up where I had left it open. And I kind of pulled apart the corner a little bit more than it was because I wasn't able to get my hand all the way in there to, you know, stuff the stuffing in the corners. And then after I sealed that, I just closed it up with some clothespins so it would dry nicely. And now you have a two-sided pillow. And I think I'm going to go get some more because I think these are really pretty. So let me know what you think. These are super cheap, and the liquid stitch stuff is really inexpensive, and I got mine at Walmart. For the next one, I am using this plant as kind of inspiration. I just thought it was so cute when I picked it up on clearance. It's a winter plant, but I'm going to make some for spring. So I'm using these terracotta pots that I got from the Dollar Tree, a paper bag, and some of this Spanish moss, also from the Dollar Tree. Also twine if you want to do exactly like the one I showed you, and some florals. So this is the piece that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to cut a couple more because I wanted to do all three of the pots. And I just kind of measured it out because I knew I would want to wrap the pot in like a slant so that you got the point up at the top. And then I just hot glued mine right along the edge, and then on the bottom you cut off the excess, and then hot glue and roll, and then hot glue and fold up the bottom. If that makes sense. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. And you want to fold it as flat as you can so that it's not wobbly when you set it down. And then I'm taking some of the floral foam from the Dollar Tree and just kind of shaping it so it fits really nice into the little pot. And then adding the moss on top so that you can't see it. And then you can use any little floral sprigs here. I was hoping to find some that looked like rosemary and stuff like that, but I haven't seen any out. So for now, I'm just going to be using the florals that I have. And I thought I would show you again just because it's a little better lighting in this shot. And I just think these are so adorable. They're the perfect little size to put on shelves or again on a tiered tray. Pretty much most of what I'm doing today is little pieces that you can decorate your tiered tray with. I mean, minus the pillow. That would look kind of strange. And here are the 3 that I ended up doing. Let me know what you guys think of these. So for this first centerpiece, we are going to be using a watermelon. And this is one of the reasons I decided to use it, because with the holidays coming up and, you know, throwing parties and stuff, we eat a lot of watermelon. So I thought instead of throwing away the rind, it would be very cool to use as a vase or a centerpiece. So all you're gonna need to do is just cut open the watermelon, and I did mine so that the top half was a little bit smaller so that the bottom half had a little bit more to hold the flowers. I wanted it a little bit taller. And then I just did what I normally do and just take an ice cream scoop and start balling up the melon. So for the watermelon, I'm just going to be using these roses that I clipped from our front yard, and I just kind of pushed it into the fleshy part of the watermelon so it kind of held it in place a little bit. It doesn't matter because I'm going to be filling it in with greenery around it. So I thought it would be cute to show 2 different ways. You could style it just as the centerpiece on your counter or table, or you could put it next to the bowl of watermelon that you're serving. Anyway, I think it's really pretty and super inexpensive. Now on to our next one. This is going to be a very summery, citrusy type centerpiece. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna take 1 vase and a smaller, skinnier vase, fill them with water, and you don't wanna fill them up to the top. So then you're just gonna slice up all the pieces of fruit that you want. I'm going with oranges and lemons. And then you just stick them in alongside of the skinnier vase. And however you do this is up to you. This one I think is one of my favorites. I think it was really, really pretty, and it just reminds me of summer and lemonade and just being outside and sunshine. I just love this one. And again, it was super simple and inexpensive. This next one has to be one of the easiest DIYs I've done. All you're going to need is a paper bag that you would use for lunches, a square vase or jar, or probably anything you get at the Dollar Tree. Just you want it to be shorter. And you're just going to take it and put it into the paper bag. And then you're going to roll down the edges tie it with a piece of twine. And I had ripped the edges of the bag just so it's easier to fold, just so it looked a little bit neater. And I think this one is very rustic farmhouse style. I think this one's really pretty and super simple, but it has a lot of texture. And I think this is super cute. You could put this up on a shelf or as a centerpiece, or you could give it as a gift. I think that would be super sweet. I would love to get something like this from somebody. This one is almost as simple as the last one. All you're going to need is a piece of burlap. You kind of want it longer than it is wide. You're going to want some flowers. These are ones I just cut from my yard. You could use ones that you buy or faux flowers. If you're going to be using real ones and you're giving this as a gift, or you're going to have it out for a long period of time, you're going to want to wrap a wet paper towel around the stems just so they don't wilt on you. And then wrap that in a plastic bag just to hold in the moisture. Then you're going to wrap the burlap around the stem of the flowers like this. And then you're just going to use a piece of twine or jute rope and wrap it around and tie it in a cute little bow. And you're all set. That's it. Hi friends, and welcome to Coffee with My Sunshine. Today I'm going to be doing 3 farmhouse DIY projects, so if you'd like to see how I made them, please keep watching. We're going to start by using these free printables that I found on a really cool website. I will have them listed in the description box. I'm also going to be using these frames that I got a while back from Arteza, some masking tape, and any kind of acrylic paint, and this isn't necessary, but I just want these frames to be like a wood tone. So I'm going to try something I've never done before. I was just trying to think of a way to paint these and change them up, but have it be temporary, because I know how I am and I always change my mind on like the style I want in the house. And since we can't get out and about to go shopping, I just thought I would temporarily change these, because I actually do like the black, and I'm pretty sure one day I will want them to be black again. So I am taking this masking tape and going over the frame part of it. All I'm doing is pressing it down really, really well and making sure I get down in the edges, because I don't want any of the brown paint to get on the actual frame. And I know it probably looks crazy, but you know, when you can't get out to get what you actually want, you kind of get creative and think of different ways to change things, but without really changing them permanently. So after I got all the edges and everything taped down really, really well, you want to make sure it's pressed down really well because you don't want it to lift up. I just went over it with some brown paint. And like I said, I wanted it to have kind of like a realistic wood look. So I'm just starting with some brown paint. And I did a ton of mixing of paints, just trying to get, you know, different textures and colors on there and stuff. And you'll see it took me a little bit to actually use my brain here and take out the glass. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but after I kept getting paint on the glass, I was like, duh, take the glass out. So anyway, I just kept layering and layering paint till I was happy with the look that I got. and then went ahead and did that to all 3 frames. I added a little bit of orange, and I did each frame I did a different kind of like painting technique and started with a different color because I didn't want the frames to be exact. I didn't want them to match, so you know, I was just playing around. And then I took the original inserts that were in the frame and cut the printables down to size. And I just think they are so pretty. They just fit perfectly in the kitchen because they're just simple pictures of herbs. So here's where I hung them in my kitchen next to my laundry room door, which is just off to the right of my kitchen going into my dining room. And I'm really happy with how they turned out. Let me know what you guys think. So for this next DIY, it is super simple, but it's adorable. I got these pots at Home Depot. I ordered them online and they delivered them curbside for me, along with the command strips that I got. I got them to hold 2 pounds because I'm going to be adding dirt to these later when actual herbs are in season. So I got this idea from one of the girls that I watch on YouTube. She has such an awesome channel. If you like cleaning channels, check her out. Her channel is called Amy Fritz, and she came up with this idea, and I see it hanging in her kitchen all the time and just loved it. So I wanted to recreate it for our kitchen, and she actually had a video where she told how she did it. So I am just showing you how I'm doing it in my kitchen, but I will have her channel listed in the description box as well if you want to check it out. So in her video, she said to just simply drill holes into the plastic containers, which is what my hubby did for me. So normally I delete the audio that comes along with these DIYs and then I just do like a voiceover thing, but I thought it would be cool for you to actually hear what goes on when my husband and I are working together. So if I put this in the center of it, is that good?
Yep.
I can't tell if it's straight.
That's fine. That's good.
You sure?
Yep. I'm so glad you look out for your husband as much as you do.
And that's why you love me.
It is kind of. The most conceited thing you could have ever said.
That's not what I meant.
I can't.
I meant.
Yeah.
If you weren't.
If you're not cool, you're not in my videos. That's your voice too.
If you weren't a cool husband, you wouldn't be on my videos. Okay.
Oh, that one's crooked on the bottom.
So after I fixed the crooked one on the bottom, this is what it looked like. I am super happy with it. I think it's adorable and I can't wait to put in actual herbs for the summer. Like I said, I got this idea from Amy Fritz, so I will have her channel linked in my description box. If you love Farmhouse, you will love her channel. For this next one, you're just going to need a Dollar Tree frame. This is part of a project that I had done last year, so excuse the paint on there. You're also going to need some florals from the Dollar Tree, these little cardboard Happy Easter signs, and these little pots, and the spring sign from the Dollar Tree. I think it comes with the words bunny and welcome. And then for this, you're just going to want to remove that little metal clip in the back and then paint over it. And you're going to want to paint the edges and the insides, or inside. And then I'm using this scrapbook paper. I think it was from Michael's, pretty sure, or Hobby Lobby, one of the two. But you could use construction paper or paper that you paint on or whatever. You could paint this glass. If this glass wasn't already painted on, I would have just stuck the scrapbook paper behind it, which is what I suggest, so that your pot, I'll show you in just a second, so that your pot has a little bit more to hold on to than just the paper. But because my glass wasn't clear, I just put the paper over it. And then you're going to take the little cardboard sign and hot glue it just like that. And this is what I mean. You probably want the paper behind the glass when you do this so that it has something to hang on to. And then you're going to take one of those little St. Patrick Day little pots and hot glue it right on there and remove any of the squished out hot glue. And then I just hot glued the spring sign onto the top. And I know this isn't like typical spring colors, but I just love that brick look. I think it gives it a little bit of a rustic feel. And I decided to go with this greenery instead of the florals. And you can get this at Walmart for less than $1. I think they're 97 cents, and they're so full and pretty. And this is what it looks like all finished. I think it's super cute. And you could change out the florals whenever you wanted to, too. I didn't glue them in just for that reason. And if you did that paper behind the glass, you could change that out anytime and remove the spring word super easy if it was glued to the glass. Next we're going to move on. This is the burlap I was going to use, but then I thought if we're trying to save money, because this is kind of like a look for less type challenge, why not go with paper bags? Because I really do like the look of like the greenery in the paper bags. Kind of reminds me of getting like plants and flowers from like farmers markets and stuff. I just think it's really cute. But you can go ahead, like the inspiration piece, you can go ahead and cover the glass mason jars with the burlap. It's super easy. I've done it a couple times in other videos. But this is one of my favorite looks. So I'm going to go with the paper bags, and they're super cheap and super easy. You just fold it down like that. And then put it in the basket and add some greenery. And like I said, it's a little bit different than the picture, but that's kind of, I think, what doing DIYs and crafting is you find an inspiration piece and then you just recreate it, or you know, do little changes to fit your own style. And I really like copper. Copper, I think, it brightens up a space, especially for spring and summer. So then I just went ahead and did the same thing for the other 2 jars. And it would look cute with just 2 jars in there, I think. But I went ahead with 3 like the picture. And in the end, I'll show you what everything cost. This last one was one of my favorites that I did. I just love how it turned out. I didn't like how the chicken wire beat up my hands so much, but I thought I would include this one. It's from last year. I just liked it because you could change out the flowers or the little flags. So for this, I just cut some pieces down to size to make the frame that I wanted. And if you're interested in remaking this, I have the measurements down below. And all I used for this was some wood glue and some staples. And for the flags hanging off of the chicken wire, I'm just going to use some of this old poster board. And I didn't care that it already had paint and, you know, markers and stuff on there. I thought it would be perfect because they were nice and sturdy, and I was going to paint black over it anyway. So I'm using some black chalkboard paint. And I decided to use the chalkboard paint because I wanted to be able to change out the words that are on these little flags. And then for the wreath part of it, I'm just using this, I think it's like a little embroidery hoop. It was in a bunch of stuff that my grandma had given me. And you can use anything for this kind of wreath. You can change it up for any occasion or season or holiday. I'm just making mine very simple and then putting a cute little terracotta pot in the center. And just to hold this stuff, I'm just using some hot glue. This terracotta pot was from the Dollar Tree, I believe. It was a long time ago. And then I just added some flowers. I love how simple it is. And then to attach the chicken wire, I used a staple gun and these wire cutters. I think that's what they were, but this stuff is so nasty to work with. So if you're using real chicken wire, just be careful. I have been told that there is chicken wire type stuff at Michael's that isn't as sharp as this, but I haven't found it yet. And then for the little banner, I'm just putting holes in the little chalkboard flags where I'm going to weave the twine through. And I just think this is so cute. And then just tie the twine on to the chicken wire. And then to attach the wreath, I use twine as well. And you don't want to glue down the flowers unless those are the flowers you want to keep in there all the time. And because on this day I did not have the colored flowers that I wanted, I'm just taking some acrylic paint and painting over some white flowers that I had. Also, a little secret for my subscriber friends, since I hit 40,000 subscribers recently, I am going to be doing a giveaway coming up real soon here. So if you are subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to check that out. I will have details coming up, so don't forget to click that bell so that you are notified when I put out that video. So I was super happy with how it turned out. Let me know what you guys think. Well, that about wraps up this giant video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, let me know in the comments below if you have any video ideas that you'd like to see on my channel. I hope you all are having a great day. Thanks so much for all your love and support. It really means so much to me. And I'll see you next time. Bye!